It is almost spring 2020, and it has been a while since I have gone through my plugin folder and deleted ones that I don't really use anymore or don't like anymore. So that's what this video is all about. Let's get started right away. Abbey Road Chambers. I like it. I like this plugin, but it's redundant to other plugins that I have, so I'll temporarily remove it. By the way, I'm using a program called Always On Top, which keeps my notepad on top of Reaper. It saves clicks, and I'm going to be doing a lot of clicking in this video, so every little click I can save saves me time. Abbey Road plates. Yes, this one is redundant as well, so it will be removed. KClip 7 is staying. Access Analog is definitely staying. ARC is staying. If you don't know what these, I should mention what these are. KClip 7 simulates a high-end analog to digital converter when it clips, so it helps with increasing loudness, and I like it. Access Analog gives you real hardware in a plugin. I'm not lying, because I've tested out their different hardware, and it's crazy that I'm sending audio here on the East Coast, and the servers are in Colorado, and I'm controlling hardware with the click of my mouse, and using like $42,000 worth of equipment. I can pick from any of them, and use them for, I believe it's like $20 per hour, maybe cheaper. Yeah, I think it's actually like 12 or 13 as of the recording of this video, so cool. ARC is speaker/room correction software. Don't leave home without it. And if you notice, I have a custom EQ on because I feel that if I don't have it like this, I'll put too much treble in my mixes. Blue Cat Freak Analyst. It's actually been a while since I've used this plugin. Man, this is a tough one because I don't really use it often. It's a good plugin to have. I don't know. I'm going to have to get rid of it. Yeah. I mean, I'll always be able to reinstall it if I need it, but I just haven't used this plugin. Bit Shift Gain. Yes, I use this plugin often, particularly when audio is recorded very poorly by my local government. So, yes, I use this a lot. Bitter. This plugin shows you whether plugins are outputting at 32-bit, 24-bit, 16-bit, and 64-bit floating point. The other ones are integer. And although it's not a plugin I will typically use on a mix, if curiosity gets me, or maybe I'm testing a new plugin out, I'll use this plugin. So it's a keeper. BOD, cool plugin, I'll keep it. It is for bass guitars, and it simulates a Tech 21 Sans amp. Brus Free is the noise reduction I use when I need noise reduction and I don't want to use Isotope RX, so I'm keeping it. Bus Colors is cool, but I have other plugins like it, so I'm going to remove it. And Cakewalk CA2A, I need this for an upcoming video where I shoot out LA2A hardware with LA2A plugins, so I'm keeping it just for that. But otherwise, I'd probably still keep it, just, you know, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the hardware shootout, right? First up is Seal from Acoustica Audio. Now, I have the VST3 version of this, so I don't even know why this is on here, so I'm going to get rid of this because Big Seal made this one redundant. Channel 6 from Air Windows. This is their VCC competitor plugin, so you can choose from different console types. You know, I've been kind of wanting to do a shootout video between this and VCC, so for that I'm going to keep it. The 3 comps. Uh-oh. What happened? All right, let me fix something, because, yeah. Maybe it's because I'm using the VST 2.4 version of this. All right, so I'm going to have to make a note to uninstall the VST 2.4 versions of Arturia Comp. Console 6 Bus. I don't even really know what this is, to be honest, so because I don't use it ever, yeah. Couture from Auburn Sounds. It's a transient designer plugin. I don't really have a lot of these type of plugins, so I'm keeping it. DBX 160 from Waves. I'm keeping it. If I could get rid of the VST 2.4 version, though, I would. DC1A2. I know it's a compressor plugin. It's basically like the light version of 8C2 and 3. So because of that, I'm going to get rid of this. Although this one might not sound too bad. I just have so many compressor plugins that, you know. Air Windows DS. I do want to do a shootout video between this, Waves, and FabFilter, so I'm going to keep it for that reason. Clev Grand Degrader. I do not have a lot of lo-fi type of plugins, so definite keep. Echo Boy. I think it's obvious. I'm keeping it. F6 from Windows. I'm keeping this. I do believe that it sounds pretty darn good, and I've definitely used it in mixes, so I'm keeping it for that reason. Although I do want to get rid of the 32-bit version. FabFilter Pro DS. I'm absolutely keeping this plugin. This one gets used on nearly every mix that I do. Fetish from Analog Obsession. They actually recently upgraded all of their older plugins because there was apparently a noise burst issue that I ran into on one of my videos. So I'm going to write down a note to upgrade Analog Obsession plugins. This one is supposedly like an 1176 compressor. I don't know how good it is, so because I haven't tried it out yet, I'm going to keep it just for that reason. I want to do like a whole video on Analog Obsession plugins and see if maybe I can do a full mix with just their EQs and compressors and saturators. Frequency Shifter. I've used this plugin. It does interesting things, but I really don't think I'm going to really use it again. Now, if I was doing like sound design a lot, maybe, or if I was doing EDM, maybe, but yeah, this one's getting tossed in the trash can. Front DAW, I need to check if they've released an update for this plugin because it's been a while. And this is like VCC, but with different options. I like it. I like what it did. And actually, a lot of people said it might be better than VCC. I don't know about that necessarily, but I'm going to keep it. So I'm just going to take a note to upgrade front DAW. From Sound Device Digital, Waves Voice Centric from Greg Wells. I definitely use this plugin a good deal, so there's no way I'm getting rid of it. IIEQ Pro, I'm keeping it, but I'm going to get rid of the VST 2.4 if I can. IRL, this is a redundant program because I finally bought IR1, so I really don't need this plugin anymore, which is cool. IR1 is a convolution reverb, and I used IRL for the longest time, and I finally bought the bigger version of it, and I have no regrets. IVGI2 from Klanghelm it's like VCC, but truth be told, I've really never used it. I kind of just keep it around to like remind people that, there is a VCC alternative. One of them was with front DAW, which is no longer free. This one still is, but because I don't use it, I'm going to get rid of it. Now this is funny because if you've been following Real Home Recording for the past couple weeks, I was doing an Ozone 9 video and decided to reinstall Ozone 3 so I could get a screenshot of it. And that's the only reason I have this installed. So Ozone, man, this was a cool plugin back in 2007 and 8 or whenever it came out. I'm sorry, not 9, 3. There we go. But it's definitely long in the tooth. Kaz Rogue KClip Pro, definitely keeping it. It's a clipper plugin. It makes things louder without making it sound too bad. Although it distorts your transients, you may like the way that sounds. So yeah, definitely keeping it. And by the way, thank you Kaz Rogue for upgrading me to the Pro version because I couldn't download the standard version anymore. So they were cool, and then I bought True Iron. Cleverb from Clev Grand. I'm going to keep this because it is a good zero latency reverb plugin. If it didn't have zero latency, I probably would remove it. Not because it's bad, but just because I have other reverb plugins. And the reason zero latency is important is because if I'm recording somebody who wants to have reverb while they're singing, then these types of plugins are ones that I'll use. And in fact, I'm going to add that to the list. Kuasa Vermilion. I like this plugin. It's really one of the best guitar amp plugins that I have. But that's right, the VST3 version of different Kuasa plugins are not good. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to make a note to remove the VST3 versions of the Kuasa amps that I own. They have bugs, and bugs need to be squashed, and they still have not been squashed. So yeah, you use VST3 if you're going to use Kuasa plugins. Listen to receiver from Audio Movers. Keeping them, absolutely. In fact, I wonder if I still have a subscription. I don't think so, but let's see. I know I do. I have it for another month. Or 20 days or so. Neat. LoudMax, now in version 1.33, the last time I checked. Definitely keeping it. Loudness penalty, I'm going to double check on if they release an upgrade or not, so I'm going to mark these as check for upgrade. And finally, Love to Kiss, which is a Mag 4 EQ. I mean, I like this on vocals, but I have other plugins I like on vocals better, so not a bad plugin, just it's something I don't personally use a lot. And by default, it doesn't say Mag EQ4, I added that in. So Love to Kiss is being removed. So there you go for that list. The Lexicon Reverbs. As I was saying earlier, with the chamber reverbs that I have from Waves, I already have different plugins that sound like chamber reverbs. And I know that it's not the same thing because, well, that's the plate at Abbey Road, and that's the echo chamber at Abbey Road. And I understand that, but I really want to just keep my plugin folder to be smaller in general. I know I have the option, I can always reinstall it, but if I have plugins that I like better, why not use them? And Lexicon ones are definitely up there in quality, in my opinion. We also have Magic AB, which was kind of rendered obsolete by Ozone 9. So I think I might finally get rid of this. Now, I'm not saying that Ozone 9 is exactly the same as this plugin, but, if I have another plugin that does the same thing, it just doesn't make sense to keep it. So Magic AB, bye. SK Note Main EQ. I actually installed this just to kind of make fun of it and how much they're ripping off FabFilter's GUI, so I didn't even realize I still had this on here. This is still a demo, and yeah. Master Dither from Kaz Rogue. This is one that came free when I got the free upgrade to KClip, so I don't know how this compares to Ozone, and to be honest, I don't know how easy it is to remove this, so I'll keep it just... I don't know why I want to keep it, to be honest with you. If I can figure out how to remove it, I will. It does have surround sound, which I don't think Ozone has. Micro Shift is something I use basically on every mix, because it's that cool vocal delay / micro pitch shift type of thing, and yeah. There's no way I'm deleting this plugin, I'll just put it that way. Wow, I didn't keep much from that group. This next set of plugins, I actually went through and selected just a few of them, but you're not missing anything, it's just different versions of them. The first one is Waves NX, and these are the two main ones that I use, which one's for just stereo, wearing headphones, the other one tries to simulate surround sound with headphones, and, I like it. Is it 100% realistic? Not so much, but it's better than nothing, and for the 5.1 surround sound, I haven't had to mix like this before. If the requirement came down, this might give me the option to do it. So I'm definitely not getting rid of NX because, to be truthful, I waited a long time for this plugin to go on sale, and when it finally went on sale, I bought it. All right, Ocher. Oh wow, this one's old. It's cool that I have this plugin, but I don't really use it, so it's just eating up hard drive space at this point. Peaks Only. This is actually a plugin that I'm not going to say it was made for me or Real Home Recording, but I did send the idea to Chris, who is the developer for Air Windows. And he said, well, he already had the idea to do something like this. Basically what it does is the peak of your audio sounds nasty. So if something is mixed out of whack, you'll know it immediately. Particularly, and I still have the broken subwoofer, when the low end was too high, the subwoofer distorted. So this plugin is slightly inspired by my email, and I'm so glad Chris made it. So for that reason alone, I'm not going to delete it. Also, it might be useful in upcoming mixes. Why are these already gone? I don't understand why. Yeah, maybe I have to rescan my folder or something. I don't know. Version 9 mono. I'll have to look into why these aren't here anymore. Finally, PRS Gain. I do use this plugin, although I compared it to other gain plugins, and I really didn't get a difference in quality. So it's a cool utility plugin to have. It does allow you to have precise fades and maybe more exacting gain settings. So for those reasons, I'm keeping it. If I could see the PRS plugins, I'm not sure if I would keep them or not, but yeah, I'll decide about that later on since they're not here anymore. Maybe I did decide already, right? The Q American series from Vocal Audio. These are their API emulations, but they're not exactly emulations because they don't emulate the transformers and the op amps and all that good stuff. This is essentially matching the curves of API's equalizers, but doing so in a way that is clean, as it were. So, do I need to keep these? Well, truth be told, I went back to one of my favorite mixes, and guess what plugins were being used in that mix? Yes, the Vocal Audio ones. So, I'm certainly going to keep these. Even though I have other API equalizers, these come in handy. They really do. Plus, I like that the GUI is big. So, yeah. Renaissance Bass. These are all gone. Where did they go? So, we have Recast, which allows you to do a live stream, and Recomp. Well, these are built-in plugins, so I don't know if I even have an option to delete them. And if I did, I would, because I really don't use them anymore. I used to use Recomp years ago, but I don't. And I don't use Riedl A. So maybe look into deleting like some of these. Sorry, Kakos. Just being honest. So only the Vocal Audio EQs survived. Refire? I don't know how to pronounce this, but I don't even really know what this is. Excuse my ignorance, but yeah, I don't really know what this plugin is, so I would get rid of it. Regate is actually a good plugin. I would not get rid of this. And reinsert, if I use hardware, this is pretty much required, so I would definitely keep this. Reamp from Clevgrand. Well, it's a saturation plugin. I do have other saturation plugins, but this one's kind of neat. And truth be told, I don't think it gets enough credit. So yeah, I'll keep it. I'll keep Reamp. All right, Re-Ninjam. So basically, this allows you to play music with others in essentially real time. I don't know how the mechanism works, but it allows you to play music with other people across the internet, which is really cool. And then it saves your multi-track files so you can edit them later on. Like I said, I don't know how it technically works, but yeah, I would keep this. That's super cool. In fact, I was saying that if you can figure out how to use Ninjam, you can do what I was demonstrating with the sound isolation control room on a low budget for an even lower budget. Repitch, maybe I would keep it. Restream. I'm going to have to look into this plugin because maybe this plugin does what I want Ninjam to do, but maybe not. Resurround, I guess this is a surround sound type of plugin that does something. I really don't know. Retune. Okay, this is like a pitch correction plugin. Again, I don't use Reaper plugins, and I know that that's blasphemy for some people, but, I just don't. All right, next, Recapnet version 3. I can't say I've used this plugin a lot, but that's because I just haven't had a need for it. But it's a good plugin, so there's really no reason for me to get rid of it. Speaking of Recapnet version 3, for some reason I also have Recapnet version 4 and 5, and I don't even know if these are like demos or... Basically, Kaz Rogue had to change how you downloaded their plugins, and because I had, bought plugins many, many years ago from them, yeah. So I really don't know, like, what any of this is, other than, I mean, this looks like an impulse response loader that I guess if I installed my old versions of Recapnet version 2, I could use this to play them. So this looks like a demo version of number 5, and number 4 might potentially be, I mean, I don't, is this an actual, like, amp up here? And then this is the cabinet? I really don't know. All I know is it looks like it's not a demo. And I also don't know if I can, like, disable the amps. You know what I mean? I would assume you can. Like I said, guys, I haven't touched Recapnet in a long time, so I would just stick with version 3 myself. Temporarily, at least, until I figured out how to use this, which it doesn't seem like it's that complicated, but, kind of getting to the point where I might want to just stick with the plugins that I've been using for years, and unless something's truly innovative and absolutely a must-have, Speaking of which, actually, I'll do that right now. It works once again, but because it shows my real name and my email address, I have to not show you guys that. But yeah, Redline Equalizer and Redline Reverb, although I have not used the equalizer in a long time, it is a good equalizer from what I remember, and it was ahead of its time, that's for sure. 2011 is when it came out, if I remember correctly. And Redline Reverb, because it's a zero latency reverb, I am going to keep it just for that, and also use it during recording, and I already have it in the list, so that's cool. Now here's an interesting plugin. It did an interesting job at emulating a API 560 equalizer, and although the interface isn't that great, I mean it looks great, but like the way it works isn't super great. Guess what? The sound quality is all that matters, and I thought that this sounded pretty darn good, and you can actually still get this plugin, but you have to buy it if you want the newer version, which they probably improved. I don't know if they improved the equalizer algorithm, but they probably improved the interface, and look, developers, they need money, so check out this plugin company called Redline Sound. Okay, Renaissance Vox, I actually use this plugin still, so definitely keeping it. Wave Sibilance. Truth be told, I use FabFilter Pro DS still. Even though I bought this, and it's just, to me, easier to use the other plugin. So Waves Deesser, Wave Sibilance is their newer Deesser plugin, which I got for free. And also the Air Windows version is what I want to compare this one to, along with FabFilter Pro DS. I just wish Waves didn't have so many darn plugins that came with it. And then you can't choose, just to install VST3. They force you to install basically everything. And I don't like that at all. SoundToys, a few years back, released their free plugin, which I don't think it's free anymore, but this is like I think Telefunken EQ or Simon's EQ or something like that. But yeah, I never really tested it out. So I'm torn on this one since it's a freebie. But realistically, since I still haven't used it, and I have a ton of other great equalizers, I'm going to have to delete it. Not because of quality, but just because I haven't used it. SonarWorks reference, apparently there's a new version, but I'm going to dismiss this for right now, so I can show you the full screen. SonarWorks reference 4, I am definitely not going to remove, because it is a vital plugin in my arsenal. So here's a plugin that you can't download anymore. It was a freebie at one point, and I don't know if it still is. But again, if you know a certain someone and look a certain place, you might just be able to find it. But anyway, this is an important plugin because it allows you to easily enter credits for a song that you're working on. And then it exports a PDF and another type of file. And eventually, this stuff is usable somewhere with the different streaming services. For right now, it's just, for me, I like to have a catalog of information, and this is a plugin that allows you to have that catalog of information. I've only used it about 3 or 4 times for a real project, but, I hope to use it a lot more in the future. Studio Rack. This is from Waves, and it allows you to use a bunch of different plugins, like 500 series racks. Basically, it's a ripoff of Slate Virtual Mix Rack, but whatever. So, anyway, I don't ever use this plugin, so if I can get rid of it, then I will. Studio Tan from Air Windows. This is a dither plugin, and I'll tell you the truth, I tested this out against Ozone 9. Ozone 9, with its Mbit Plus dither, wipes the floor with this one. Now, is it terrible? No, it's a good dither, but when you really put it to the test, Mbit Plus is still the one to use at the end of the day. Tan from Acoustica Audio. This is a mix bus compressor type of plugin, and I really never use it, so I'm removing it. You can get it for free if you want to try it out. There you go. I only kept 3 from that list. EBU Loudness was a plugin that I used for many years, but it has now been overtaken by 2 other loudness level metering plugins, so I really don't have a use for it anymore. In fact, if somebody wants to buy it from me, then they can. I'm serious about that. If somebody wants this plugin, I will sell it, if that's allowable. I'll have to look into that. TDR Kotelnikov is an awesome plugin. It's free and very, very clean. I will have to look to see if I have the latest version or not. Speaking of which, Nova, I absolutely adore this EQ and will not be getting rid of it. Ultrasonic Filter. Now, this has been interesting because I am of the belief that high sample rates are beneficial. However, there's been research done, and apparently there's intermodulation distortion, foldback distortion, blah, blah, blah. And if that's true for high sample rates, now we're talking anything above 48 kilohertz, so 88.2 and above, and yeah, there might be some truth to that, and the way you're supposed to use this plugin is to, well, let me show you as an example. So this Ultrasonic Filter plugin, which is technically still a beta plugin, goes as the first instance before any other plugin that you put in, and then your next plugin, then the Ultrasonic Filter, and then your next plugin, then the Ultrasonic Filter again, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to use, but apparently a lot of people have been saying it's the way to go if you're mixing high sample rate audio. So if you believe them, consider using the Ultrasonic Filter. Tesla Pro Mark II, which is a saturation plugin, free, from our guy at Variety of Sound, who no longer develops plugins, but for the years that he was active, this guy rocked. And I thank him so much for the freebie plugins that he released throughout the years, including this one, which is like a competitor to Slate VCC and also Slate VTM to an extent. Pretty neat. I haven't tried this in a while, but I don't use it, but maybe I should try it. I don't know. I'm going to have to put it on the maybe list. If it has stateful saturation, which was Variety of Sound's one of their last innovations with plugins, then I'll keep it. But if it does not have stateful saturation, or whatever it was called, I'm going to remove it. The glue from Saitama. Oh my goodness. And I would be remiss if I didn't show you that the GUI could get a good deal bigger. 100. I wish I had 125 because that would be perfect for 1080p. But anyway, there's 100, which is okay. 150 is a little bit bigger. Maybe if I double clicked it, it would be okay. Yeah, see? So that fills up the screen for 180, for 1080. But yeah, I'm definitely not getting rid of the glue. It's a solid plugin. It's like the newer SSL bus compressors, and I definitely want to be shooting it out against the real hardware in upcoming Real Home Recording premium videos for the people that donate it to the cause. Isotope tonal balance control. This is a part of Ozone 9, I guess, in a way. And yeah, so the way this works is you choose a preset genre, and these different little guidelines change positions depending on which song type you choose. And yeah, so I'm going to keep this. I don't see a reason not to have it. Torque from Waves. This allows you to retune drums after the fact. And it works pretty well. I bought it, as you can see. So yeah. And I do recommend this plugin. I reviewed it a few years ago when it first came out, and I was very happy with the quality of the plugin, especially for high sample rate recordings. Tremmelator from SoundToys. I don't have another plugin like this, so I'm keeping it. Oops, I got rid of it by accident. Trigger from Slate Digital. I definitely use this on music mixes if the drums just were not recorded very well or the drums themselves just sound bad. So Trigger 2 is a classic plugin I will probably never get rid of, ever. Next up, the 808, which is a overdrive type of plugin. This is based on the Ibanez TSE 808. Again, an overdrive pedal. And this one's a freebie. I don't know if it's still free or not, but there's no reason for me to delete it. It's a really good sounding plugin, and I have used it on at least 2 mixes that I can think of. You stick it before a guitar amp plugin and let it rock. Speaking of rock, Eventide Ultra Channel. I've never tried to do a full mix with this plugin, and what bothers me more than anything is how small everything is. Like, if I had 20/20 vision, it wouldn't be a problem, but, these eyes are getting old. And they were already bad when I was in my early 20s, so, not a bad plugin. I got it when it was free. Oh, you can change the, yeah, that's right. You can change the order of the different things. I forgot about that. You can't change input, which makes sense, but you can change the order of other things, which is great. Different modules. Can you change this one? No. That's one thing. Even though I have micro shift from SoundToys, the micro shift in this plugin is quite good. I don't know about the delays, but this is a nice little channel strip plugin. But should I keep it? I don't recall using it on a mix other than for the micro shift part. So I'm gonna have to get rid of it finally. Black Rooster Audio VLA 3A. This is a Teletronics or Universal Audio LA3A compressor emulation, and I use this quite often. It is one of my favorite compressor plugins out there. So should I delete it? I don't think so. Waves Tune. This is an affordable auto-tune / Melodyne alternative, and I have it just in case. I didn't want to buy this plugin, but it was on sale for, I believe, like $29, so I picked it up, and I haven't had to use it yet, but you never know. Finally, this is the plugin that was giving me noise burst problems, so again, I'm going to upgrade it, and this is kind of sort of like an LA2A plugin, but not really, so I'm going to try it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it after I try it, though. So there you have it for this set of plugins, which I believe is it for the VST 2.4 plugins. The next ones I'm going to show you are the VST 3s that I don't have VST 2.4 plugins for, and I will decide if I'll keep those or not in part 2.